this is the hottest ticket in town, that's for sure.
After a great finish by Duran over Cuevas, as you take a look at Duran, who won that fight in the 4th round knockout, do you anticipate that Duran will try to come in smoking here early on Davey Moore? Can he afford to, Al Bernstein?
Well, Davey Moore has good power. He is really a powerful puncher. The criticism of Moore has been that he maybe takes a few too many punches, but I don't know that Duran can afford to just wade right in.
Madison Square Garden, where they have more people standing in the aisles and sitting down here tonight, trying to get everybody to their seats as Davey Moore battles Roberto Duran.
Moore has a good jab, an excellent straight right hand. He used that against such people as Ayub Kalule in one of his title defenses and Gary Guiden. And so he's got excellent power, but can he hit Duran? Duran's such a fine defensive fighter.
It will be interesting in the fact that when both these fighters came into the ring, certainly Davey Moore from the Bronx getting his share of applaudance, but Roberto Duran a big favorite here in Madison Square Garden.
Well, you wonder what that does psychologically. Davey Moore grew up in the Bronx. This is his hometown, and yet Roberto Duran comes in, and he is certainly the crowd favorite.
Pretty much a slow first round, as might have been expected here, with both fighters respecting the other. Both fighters, as you see, somewhat similar in their styles, even though Moore may hold his hands just a bit higher, right up under the chin, where Duran is about chest high. Good left hand that time, but Duran slipped in on Moore. The champion retaliates with a left-right, comes back with another left-right to Duran.
Now there's the right of Davey Moore. That's the punch he wants to get home. He feels he can hurt Duran with that right hand.
Slight reach advantage, Al Bernstein. A good flipping left jab by Davey Moore will be important here tonight, won't it?
It will if he can land it. So hard to land that against Duran.
Good uppercut by Moore. You saw Duran's head go flying back. He gets a little angered and comes strongly in on the champion.
This is an active first round, perhaps more active than some people anticipated.
First minute and a half was a waltz, and now it's suddenly turned into an up-tempo tango, to speak. Both fighters have demonstrated their best weapons with under 30 seconds to go in round one. Madison Square Garden will not be a quiet one tonight with this one. The champion, Davey Moore, his back to you. The challenger, Roberto Duran. Duran with a sharp left hand. We have the end of round one. Round two comes your way after this. Round one, a very active first round after it started slowly. It picked up in intensity, and now round two, anticipated by this capacity crowd at Madison Square Garden in New York, to be more of the same. Al Bernstein, how about the first round? Anything surprising from either fighter?
Well, Duran was getting his jab in fairly well and continues to here in round two. They were exchanging a lot in that first round, and Duran did take some good shots from Davey Moore and was able to sustain under them.
Both of them walked into straight left hands for each other. There the left hand, the flipping jab of Duran came with a lead right that time. It slipped in on a champ. Duran tried to load up with the right hand. Moore slipped the right as Duran pulled the string on it.
Duran trying to use his experience over 70 pro fights. Davey Moore, though, a champion, less than 15 pro fights. And you can see that he is in there against a man in Roberto Duran who knows all the tricks. Good right by Duran.
Good right by both. Duran sends Moore back to the ropes, tries to go after him. Now he does as he forces him against the ropes once again.
He is ripping body shots to the side of Davey Moore, much to the delight of this crowd.
Round two. Punching back act for Davey Moore, the champion. Roberto Duran wading in. Both the left and the right have scored here in round two. There you see the left.
Good
Moore
left.
fighting back with a good left right of his own.
Excellent. This is the kind of wars Moore has been in his championship matches, but he is really taking shots from Duran.
That inexperience starting to show as Duran spun him into the ropes and went after him quickly.
A lot of low blows from Roberto Duran. Not a warning yet from the referee on that.
There you see that body punching coming upstairs to the right by Duran. You can hear this crowd. It's very much pro-Duran here in second round. Davey Moore, the junior middleweight champion, undefeated, but he's in there with a tiger now.
The body work of Duran is just tremendous in this second round.
Under 20 seconds of round two.
You know, Moore is landing that uppercut well, but it's just not having an impact on Duran.
Moore almost walked into another right hand. Duran hesitated for a moment, or Moore could have been out. He does not, and we close in on the final moments of round two. This slugfest from Madison Square Garden continues in a moment. Good look in the corner of Davey Moore as he comes out getting his instructions. At the end of round two, Al Bernstein, it was tough for Ernesto Morgana, the referee, to get Roberto Duran back into his corner.
A lot of macho taunting going on by Duran, and he's trying to play some mind games with Davey Moore. Good right. There is swelling around the right eye of Davey Moore, and that may have come from a thumb. It looked like Duran may have snuck a thumb in there in either the first or second round, and that swelling does not bode well for Davey Moore.
You saw him working on that in the corner as we came out to answer the bell here in round three.
You know, Moore hit Duran with some tremendous shots toward the end of round two, and it just didn't seem to faze Duran. Of course, he has a tremendous chin.
Davey Moore trying to come at Duran, who's now back on his heels and throwing punches at will. Let me tell you, that right eye is becoming more of a problem here for Davey Moore. It's starting to close even more here in round three.
I think there's blood from around the left eye as well. And Duran is ripping those left hooks to the body. Moore is fighting him on the inside, not necessarily where I think Davey Moore wants to be, even though Davey is counterpunching fairly well. I think Moore needs this fight at long range.
Davey Moore, who had been known to bounce around the ring, has very little spring at the moment, as Roberto Duran has come at him from almost all angles. And round two, Moore almost resembled a punching bag, and here in round three, Duran continues to score. Moore trying to counter.
And there's the hand speed of Davey Moore in the combination punching, but hard to hit Duran. And Roberto goes back to the body.
There you saw that experience. Davey Moore covered up well at the top. Duran said okay, went down to the body and got a couple of good shots in there.
Good right by Moore. It's not that Davey Moore is not landing good shots, but Duran covering up a little more effectively and landing, I think, bigger punches to the body and the head.
Al, you can see a lot of fights, but quite obviously you don't hear the crowd getting into one as well as they have here through the first three rounds tonight.
Classic example there of Moore throwing a right and landing it, but Duran turning away just at the right instant to absorb some of the shock of that punch.
20 seconds to go in round three. Other than the first minute and a half of this fight, which was rather lackluster, it has been non-stop action. You see some blood on Duran, which has come from the eye now of Davey Moore. And that left eye indeed is starting to bleed. They'll have to work on it on the corner at the end of round three. Well, they have worked on Davey Moore in his corner. Cut does not look to be that severe as he comes out to answer the bell in round four and is met at center ring by Roberto Duran. Davey Moore, the junior middleweight champion, but he's in a fight with Roberto Duran, who wants very badly that title here tonight at Madison Square Garden. What a great deal of momentum Duran apparently has picked up since the Cuevas fight back in January, a 4-round TKO there. And now in with another toughie here from the Bronx, Davey Moore. And Roberto Duran, Al Bernstein, looks like a very confident fighter.
Well, he is using his jab well, straight right hand, and what's more impressive is the body work he's done against Davey Moore. He has just been ripping the body. It's not that Moore is fighting that bad a fight. Davey Moore has landed the same kind of shots that he's used to hurt other fighters, but Duran is responding. And I think the swelling around that right eye of Moore is really bothering him. And left eye giving him problems as well.
Absolutely. Ernesto Magana is the referee from Mexico. Davey Moore, Roberto Duran infighting here in the fourth. Moore shoved off, trying to get some long-range shots at Duran. Duran, however, starting to wade back in. Moore ties him up for the moment.
In this round, Davey Moore landing some good shots, getting his jab in occasionally and straight right hands, and Duran, I think, just taking a slight breather. But still, Duran works the body.
Watch the way their two heads are meeting with great regularity, and I'm not so sure that may not be where that cut over the eye of Moore did not come from the very veteran Roberto Duran.
Another low punch by Duran. This fight has been a clinic on illegal activity. There's an elbow from Davey Moore, and Moore's been hitting after the bell. Except for that, everything's been legal.
Under 30 seconds to go in round 4. Davey Moore trying to throw a wild right hand, and here's that infighting Al's been talking about by Duran. Duran has done a lot of damage inside on the champion Davey Moore here through the 4 rounds. Round 5 comes your way. We'll continue with more in a moment. A very confident Roberto Duran, the challenger tonight to Davey Moore, the champion in the junior middleweight. And they answer the bell here for the 5th. Madison Square Garden. Really has not been too much more pumped up than it is here tonight. Duran has done a lot of damage to Moore through the first 4 rounds. Puffiness over the right eye, a cut on the left, and you see why with a sharp right off of that left eye again off of Moore. There's another right hand by Duran. What a clinic Duran puts on. The minute Moore tries to cover high, Duran goes to that body shot. Moore drops to the fence, and here comes Duran upstairs. Not to take that much away from Davey Moore, as Al, you pointed out, Moore has thrown some good shots of his own.
Oh, he has, but that left hook to the body is indicative of the work that Duran has done, and it's taken a lot out of Moore. Sure, Davey Moore thought going into this fight that he would be able to hurt Duran with his right hand. He's thrown some rights and landed them, but they have not done as much damage as he anticipated.
Straight left hand by Duran, got in on Moore's temple again. Moore appears to be extremely tired here in the 5th. Got a staggered end to Duran there, as Duran, with a lot of punches, have done some damage. Straight left jab by Duran, waiting for that right hand lead again. Oh, you see the battered face of the champion Davey Moore there. Blood now coming from the mouth as well as over that left eye.
And the right eye is almost closed.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that came from some kind of thumb from Roberto Duran. And whether intentional or not, whatever the case, it is giving Moore a problem. There was a good right hand. You saw Duran kind of turn away from it, absorbing some of the shock. There's another one, and Moore just not able to hurt him with the right.
Duran just standing up straight up in the center of the ring, taking whatever Davey Moore can dish out here in round 6. Round 5, excuse me. Under 20 seconds to go in the 5th round. Duran starting to take even more of a measure of Davey Moore. Moore with a championship hanging in the balance here. That's round 5. We'll be back with round 6 after this. Roberto Duran answers the bell for round 6. It's almost like a hospital report between every round from Davey Moore's corner. How long with the right eye? Keep from swelling completely over. How long with the left eye? Keep from bleeding too much. That's their big concern in the corner, as Roberto Duran just keeps coming on here in the 6th.
And all those problems for Davey Moore, the cut and the closed eye and all the rest of it, are a big problem, and an even bigger problem, I think, is the body work that Duran has done, which has slowed him down so much. And then you add to that the fact that Duran is doing a fairly good defensive job, and even when Moore thinks he's hitting him flush with those right hands, he's really not, because Duran is turning away to take away some of the impact.
You saw a graphic example of that in the 5th round. He took almost 2 in a row, standing toe-to-toe with Moore in the center of the ring. Ernesto Magana, the referee, trying to keep them apart here in the 6th round. Straight right hand over the top there by Duran. Yeah, there's one thing, Al Bernstein, as we've closed in on the end of each of the rounds, Davey Moore probably has done as much damage after the bell is rung at the end of each round than he had inside the round.
He has thrown punches after almost every bell, and I guess it's in response to some of the low blows by Duran and perhaps that thumb that got him in the eye. But whatever the case, he's not getting the job done against Duran. He's not hurting him. And he's fighting on the inside where the shorter and Duran with the less reach can have bigger impact.
Good left hand that time by Davey Moore, staggered up Duran. Al, I would imagine, as beaten and battered as Moore appears in this 6th round right now, after exchanging and giving Duran the strongest right hands he had, frustration has to be felt here in the 6th. He said, hey, I've hit him with everything I've got right now.
Well, he just feels beaten, I guess. Can't hurt Duran at this point, and he's taking a pounding. Even though he hits Duran and makes these rounds sometimes fairly close, he's just not hurting him.
Madison Square Garden.
Look at that excellent left hook by Moore on the inside and a right, and it's just not having an impact on Duran.
Right hand by Duran up over the top on Moore's head. The champion tries to cling on. Duran hits him with another right after they finish the clinch.
Can't land that right hand flush on the head of Duran. That's what he's been looking for.
Round number 6 closing in on the final seconds here. Duran with the left hand. Moore trying to wade in, throw as many punches as he can, but the infighting of Duran has been devastating. Closing seconds of round number 6. We'll be back with round 7, but right now let's pause for a moment. Sam Smith along with Al Bernstein here for round 7. Junior middleweight championship fight between Davey Moore, the champion in the red, Roberto Duran, the challenger, as they go after that WBA World Junior Middleweight Championship. Al Bernstein, Davey Moore has been beaten and battered, but gamely comes on here in the 7th.
And Duran continues to use the jab well, and he has just battered the body of Davey Moore, not to mention his face, as evidenced by the cut and the swollen eye and the bloody lip.
A warning from the referee to Davey Moore for holding. Other than the first minute and a half of this fight, we have seen non-stop action by these two junior middleweights, with quite obviously, from the looks of Davey Moore's face, Roberto Duran getting the best of it.
Boy, a warning there with all that's gone on in this fight. Ernesto Magana has been taking kind of a laissez-faire attitude about refereeing this fight. He has just decided to let things go as they go.
Roberto Duran has used the infighting to his benefit tonight. Moore has been somewhat unsuccessful at keeping the fight at long range where he needed it here tonight. And Roberto Duran has tagged him almost with a left and right of equal ability. There you see a left to the body and a right to the head.
9 out of every 10 boxing experts that were polled before this fight said that Davey Moore would be the winner. And they are surprised right now looking at this.
Now, of course, to amplify Al's comment, Magano has come up with 2 warnings to Davey Moore in this, the 7th round. You can see the blood streaming down the face of the champion now. Look at Roberto Duran just kind of saying, hey.
He sneered at Davey Moore and said, that didn't hurt.
A left hand by Duran sends Moore reeling back to the ropes. Duran looks a little tired. He wanted to just catch his breath there for a moment.
But Davey Moore is just so fatigued.
Davey Moore has now walked into the office of Roberto Duran and is paying the heavy taxes right now. Closing in on the 32nd mark of round 7, and Duran has Moore definitely in trouble here in the 7th round. Left hand to the body.
Duran putting his punches together so well, just ripping shots to the body and the head of Davey Moore.
Moore gets that right over the top. Now the left right. Oh, Moore is down. A left right, a big strong right sends Moore to the canvas. Moore slowly to get to his feet. He staggers to his feet. Magano gets the count up to 8. Moore said yes, he's all right. As the closing moments of round 7 have seen Roberto Duran send Davey Moore staggering to the canvas, and there, the closing seconds of the round. And Duran at the end of the round has gone to the wrong corner.
Roberto Duran, I guess, forgot where he was supposed to go, but he didn't forget anything in the ring. Just ripping Davey Moore to the delight of this packed house at Madison Square Garden.
The road map's not in pandemonium here. The crowd in pandemonium maybe here at Madison Square, as you see Davey Moore really being worked on.
Well, we will see in the last round the knockout, the overhand right by Roberto Duran. He had done much to set this up, and you are looking at really a beaten Davey Moore. And there, Leon Washington in the corner was working with Moore, trying to see what he can do, and you have to wonder if Moore will come out.
You see some various angles of that powerful right hand of the challenger Roberto Duran as Davey Moore takes an unceremonial seat on the end of his pants. And now the bell to answer round 8, and Roberto Duran may be smelling blood here for the 8th round. Moore, a beaten and battered man at this moment. Most of Madison Square Garden on their feet. The pride of Panama, Roberto Duran. The man from the Bronx, Davey Moore, battle in the 8th round, but it's been Duran's fight.
Davey Moore trying to fight back, but Duran has it all left.
This one could be over shortly as Moore continues to reel around the ring with that big right hand of Duran, the biggest weapon of the night.
And the body work continues from Duran, accentuating what he's done to the head of Davey Moore. Moore just looks beaten. You have to wonder if Magana might not step in and stop this fight.
He looked into his eyes there on that last clinch and break, was satisfied, but now Moore has turned into a punching bag, and this one is almost over in the 8th, it appears.
We have to wonder why the referee isn't stopping it right now. Moore in all kinds of trouble, and Duran just ripping shots.
Roberto Duran has beaten Davey Moore to a pulp here through 8 rounds. Davey Moore, give him credit, as gamely tried to hang on, but that may be the illustration how the fight has gone, hanging on by Davey Moore.
Moore is just so fatigued, so hurt. He has virtually nothing left. Just sheer courage keeping him in there at this point.
He just staggers into Duran. Ernesto Magana, the referee, not looking at Moore. Oh, look at the right hand.
Not stopping.
Moore is out on his feet. Moore is literally out on his feet. Duran keeps pounding away. Moore just hangs on, trying to keep on his feet. Ernesto Magana finally steps in, and this fight has now been stopped.
With no protest from Davey Moore. Finally, Ernesto Magana kind of lackadaisically stepped in between the two fighters. And the Madison Square Garden crowd simply erupts. Roberto Duran back all the way in what is a shocking win over Davey Moore.
The new junior middleweight champion again, Roberto Duran. There you see a beaten and battered former champion Davey Moore in the shadow of his home in the Bronx here at Madison Square Garden.
Disappointment etched on his face, as well as Leon Washington, his coach from his amateur days and on into professional. But for Roberto Duran, a happier moment.
Roberto Duran. Pepino Cuevas went down in 4. Now here in the 8th, a TKO over Davey Moore. And the junior middleweight championship belongs to this man, Roberto Duran of Panama. Celebrations are rampant in the ring for Duran. As almost from the very start, you see this kind of action now.
Roberto Duran just battering Davey Moore.